Dr. Cordell Adams has another facet to his life. He has another piece of what goes on with him. And he mentioned his grandmama. Okay. His book, Light Bread, ladies and gentlemen, he's going to read an excerpt from Light Bread. But we just have a couple of questions that we want to ask, about Light Bread, which is Cordell's first novel. And it weaves a lovely story around the tumultuous 1960s in his creation of Viola Cook, a brave Black Earth mother of wisdom, warmth, and wit. But Viola has the strength of goodness and godliness to offer love, comfort to those in need, regardless of the danger she faces, regardless of the unrest in America, and regardless of the color of the many who depend on her. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, we have some questions. Bobby and Vosh, do we want to ask him this question first?
I want him to read.
You want him to read? I want him to read. You want him to read?
Yeah.
I want him to read.
Cordell, if you are ready, we gonna let you. He gonna get ready, y'all. Because hold on for 1 second. Who? Wait a minute. Hold on.
That is not us.
That is not us. That must have been his entrance. That was the fan.
No.
That was the fan.
No, don't blame the fire truck and the ambulance on my entrance. No.
You got warrants. That's all I'm saying. You better read this before they catch up to you.
I better catch up to you. Y'all, this was my whole thing. My first book kind of took me by storm. I wasn't ready. You have to be careful when you ask God for a blessing, or you actually ask in terms of may somebody be touched by the love of grandmother as the way that I was touched. I was not ready for book sales the way they went. I was not ready for #1 book selling status. I was not for, I'm even going to share this, getting ready for it to be actually probably being developed into a screenplay, possibly with some other things after that. So you have to be careful. Like I say, when you ask God for a blessing, he just might give it to you. You just got to be ready for it.
You got to be ready.
So I got to put you into the little mood for Light Bread. You cannot actually think about my grandmother in 1967, whether at the start of the book, unless you put yourself in that mode. Okay. I'm going to show you a little bit something about grandmother. I brought a little bit something just so you see that grandmother kind of had a little look to her. Ooh. Grandmother had old duster, as you see, glasses, walking around the house. But one of the things that I do know from grandmother, she would not be getting ready on this Easter Sunday morning that I know without getting her hair prepared.
Yes.
In getting her hair prepared, you and I both know that whatever she did, pin curls, whatever it was, she put in her hair to get ready for Sunday. And on top of that, she probably put something on to make sure that head stays in place.
Yes.
Come on now.
This was my grandmother on that Easter Sunday morning that I know that she would be. I'm going to give you a little bit of excerpt to set you the mood for Light Bread, to tell you a little bit about where she was. Now, this is fictionalized because I had to make sure that nobody's feelings were hurt. To start, Viola Cook. She kept her basics on her nightstand. Her cat-eyed bifocals, a picture of her 3 children, another of her 7 grandchildren, a sharpened pencil, her favorite writing instrument, a 19-cent Bic as a backup, and on top of that electric radio lay her worn-out Bible. She seldom turned on the lamp since she preferred reading under the light attached with iron prongs to her wooden bed frame. Her wind-up alarm clock got little use. She often awakened by a tapping noise coming from the front of the house. Well, she opened an eye. The other remained buried in her pillow. That tap, tap, tap remained soft, rapid. I'll give you that little excerpt there to let you think about, what's going on. I'm going to skip a little bit to the part in terms of how she snoops around her house.
Come on.
But after this now, I want to have the little conversation with her neighbor. Going back to reading. She was certain that tapping noise had begun at Loretta's house, her neighbor. So sitting on the edge of her bed, she dialed her neighbor. You know it's rotary. Loretta, did I wake you? No. Viola heard huffing and puffing through the receiver. Well, your light was on, and I can have my own light on in my own house anytime I want to. Can't I, Viola? Loretta shouted. Well, I sure you can, but I just heard this noise. It sounded like it came from, won't you, Loretta paused between each word, get out of my business. Well, baby, I was just concerned about you, Viola said calmly. Never had anyone 20 years her junior talked to her this way and gotten away with it. Well, don't waste your time because I'm fine. I can take care of myself. Now I got to go. Well, I'm sorry I disturbed. What if I was asleep, Viola? Well, like I said, I heard something. You know, you about the nosest woman I know. Seem like every time something happened to folk, you all up in their damn business. You just can't stay out of folks' lives, can you? I'm through talking to you. I'm going to keep the day holy, Loretta, since it is the Lord's day. At the mention of the word Lord, Loretta hung up. Well, ain't that something? You ungrateful little. Viola slammed her receiver. Here she was being neighborly by checking on Loretta, and the woman had cussed her out. In 20 years living beside Loretta, she had never been so mean and disrespectful. Why, just last week, Viola lent her a cup of flour. Well, now she wanted her flour back.